Welcome to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper. And today I'm here to talk to you about emotional self-regulation. In simple terms, ADHD is a self-regulation issue with a working memory deficit. If you understand it that way, then there's a few things you have to understand. That is, you have to regulate your emotions. Most people with ADHD realize that. But you also have to regulate your attention. Excuse me, let me back up. You have to regulate your attention and you have to regulate your emotion. And for some, you need to regulate your bodily movement. So managing attention or regulating attention is something that I coach every day. And it's pretty, I'm not going to say it's straightforward, but I can coach it. It's not a problem. I can also coach emotional self-regulation, but it's a little bit more difficult and it takes a little bit longer because after all, it's actually emotional. The biggest challenge with that is to actually pause and catch yourself when you're in an emotional state, kind of like to pause and go, aha, and then to be able to bring your thinking brain online to do something different. I won't go into a lot of the detail on that. However, I stumbled upon an individual I was coaching the other day that was really into faith. I'm going to make the distinction. There's a difference, I think, in faith and believing in a higher power. You can have faith in a higher power, but faith is really faith. You can have faith in your parents or your coach or your teacher or your significant other or whatever, and sometimes you just kind of let go of things that you can't control, and you have faith in that. What was interesting to me is this individual had embarked on going to church and didn't necessarily believe in a higher power, but found church to be very helpful, really to focus in on faith. And over a period of time began to realize that stepping into that mindset over a long period of time really enabled them to manage their emotions. By the way, I can help people understand how to regulate attention, but if their emotions are getting away, it really kind of gets hijacked. And so it's fascinating to me that I had never heard this before, and it really made some sense for this particular individual. Understand that a faith-based mindset is something that takes a period of time. An aha happens quick. It's the sudden comprehension that takes place when you pay attention to something differently. But faith is a mindset that takes a while. It's kind of like changing science, if you will. You have to go and you have to practice it over a long period of time. Anyway, I'm sharing this with you as a tool. Those with ADHD that struggle with emotional self-regulation, something to consider is to find a church. You can find non-denominational churches or whatever, and focus in on faith. You don't necessarily have to believe in a higher being, but if you go in and just substitute the higher being for faith, you might find that it's actually a great attention exercise to help you begin to self-regulate your emotions and better manage your attention. I know this is a little different tip than what most of you heard, but I pride myself in sharing tips that work for a small population to share with those that might stumble into it to really help them, because most everybody talks about the mainstream stuff out there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Please subscribe by hitting our subscribe button. We release a weekly video with tips, insights, etc. Please leave a comment. I'm really interested in your thoughts, particularly if this is something that's worked for you. With that, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.